once again to the European League Championship Series, broadcast to you live from our studios here in Cologne, Germany. I am Lee P-Man Smith, and alongside me is Martin Deficio Lunge, and we are ready to bring you a Super Week full of exciting matches.
That's right, D-Man. And it's our 8th week of competition, and we have 16 games between today and Thursday. And as we have seen all season long, that simply means the standings can really change over the next 3 days.
So let's take a look at the table to see where we are before it all begins. At the top of the table, it is tied. Gambit and Roccat, they're at 10 wins and 6 apiece, and they are playing each other today. Third place, SK Gaming, they are on a charge right now. 4 wins, 1 loss. You can see they are 9 wins, 7 loss overall. They could take the top of the table today.
And at 4th place, we have a 3-way tie between Copenhagen Wolves, Fnatic, and Super Hot Crew. All 3 teams are 8 for 8, and Copenhagen Wolves, they're on a 4-game win streak. 7th place, we got Alliance, who really needs to start to step up to live up to the hype, with 6 wins and 10 losses. And 8th place, we got Millennium, who's desperate for some wins on 5 wins and 11 losses.
Now, here are the games that could be shaking up those standings today. First up, it's the Copenhagen Wolves. As you heard, they're on that 4-game win streak, and they're up against Fnatic. Well, they're only at 1 and 8 over the last 9 games. Incredible story for them. But there it is, the tie, top of the table. Roccat versus Gambit. Who will become out victorious?
Then we have SK Gaming taking on Millennium. We could follow that up with Super Hot Crew against Alliance, a game where both teams really want to win to get the Super Week starting. And then we have Roccat taking on the bottom place Millennium in the last match of the day.
And with double the amount of matches this week, the teams have a lot to focus on. With that in mind, these are the players that we'll be watching closely. First up, it's the man in the jungle, FNC. He has been playing superbly over the last few weeks, forcing his opponents to use Pantheon bans against him. This hasn't stopped him, though, switching to Evelyn with great success. He is a big part of SK Gaming's strong gameplay right now. Next up, well, it's amazing. He's been MVP for 2 weeks running now, and much like FNC, he has been wrecking from the jungle on Lee Sin. You just saw one of those hashtag LCS big plays in the preview show, and the 4-game win streak for the Copenhagen Wolves is certainly due in part to his great form.
And I'll keep the jungle trend going and have Aranea as a player to watch. He went on Twitter after the loss against Copenhagen Wolves, and he simply said, "I guess my days in the LCS are almost over." So we need to see if Aranea he's able to step up his performance and get some of his confidence back. And sticking to the Millennium players, I have Curb on my players to watch. Curb, he's a playmaker, and every single time we've seen him on Assassins, he's been having strong early game roams in favor of the team. Lately though, he's been moving away from these Assassins and not been having the same impact. I want to see him back on early game champions and have him pressure the map early on. Millennium, they really need to win this week, and for me, Curb performing and winning the early game for them is one of the keys to success. Source is my last player to watch. He stuck to the AP top laners and had his 2nd game on Lulu, where he completely dominated Darren in lane and picked up first blood together with Cyanide. It was fantastic to see him and Fnatic with such a strong early game, and they punished Gambit every single time they had the chance. If Source can keep up this performance and dominate the lane like he did versus Gambit, then I actually expect things will look great for Fnatic once again.
Fantastic stuff. We'll see how it goes. Remember, you can track the stats for these players, check out the schedule, watch the VODs, and much more all over at lolesports.com. You can also vote on which teams you think will be winning throughout the day.
Click on the schedule link and then make your choices for each of today's matches. We'll be checking in as each game begins to see how you voted. You can also get ticket information while you're there. Just visit the link at the top of the page and then join us here in Cologne to see these teams compete live in our studio.
Yeah, we'd also love to hear from you on Twitter. Find us at LOL Esports, and today we'd like to tell you to tell us which European team do you think will benefit the most from this Super Week and why?
I could actually see Fnatic benefit really well. If they can keep winning here, they got the win, they got the confidence. If they can keep it going, pick up 3 or 4 wins this week, it's going to look great for them. But remember, we want to hear from you guys, so just be sure to use the hashtag LCS with these answers. And Shock, you'll be reading some of them later on in today's show.
Yeah, big week for all of the teams involved. 4 teams, of course. 4 games each team. Of course, the biggest benefit from the Super Week is for everyone watching these matches, as we do have double the normal number of games. So let's get right into it. First up, it's the Copenhagen Wolves facing off against Fnatic, and these teams are currently tied at 1-1. The last time they met, it was a very one-sided performance for the Copenhagen Wolves during Week 6. And the Wolves, well, they are now on an incredible 4-game win streak, which is a big turnaround when you go look at the other teams. They are all struggling right now.
And the highlight of the last match Copenhagen Wolves had against Fnatic was amazing on his Lee Sin. Every single gank he made was successful, and he managed to get Kautar rolling in the mid lane. It was one of the first times we also saw the improved Copenhagen Wolves shot calling. They never gave Fnatic a chance to come back after they actually took the early lead. And the new aggressive early playstyle for the Copenhagen Wolves have made them such a strong team. In the last 7 games, they have picked up first blood in five of them, and if they stick to this risk-free mid-game playstyle, then I see them just continuing picking up kills.
And another thing the Wolves have changed is their support picks. Earlier in the season, they were playing a lot of Karma and have a good amount of focus on mobility and the counter-engage she brings.
Yeah, but it's simply meant for them to have a hard time controlling the games because you don't have this hard engage. And in the last 2 weeks, we have seen them play Annie and Leona for Unlimited, and he's always been really, really good when it comes to engaging. He's been on point with them. And early in the season as well, he used to give up a lot of first bloods. But Unlimited, he's been fixing it, and he hasn't given up a first blood since week 4 against Gambit.
Oh, Fnatic, meanwhile, finally broke their 8-game losing streak last week, beating out Gambit, the team that started it all. However, as we mentioned, their last match against the Wolves was especially a bad one to forget for Peke in that mid lane, who went 0-6-0 on Syndra.
And to be honest, Xpeke, he had his worst game of the season against the Copenhagen Wolves. But his last game against Gambit was a whole different story. He survived his lane, and he went even in farm against the Gragas as an Italy. And then after the laning phase, he just started landing spear after spear when Fnatic was setting up fights or objectives, and it simply meant that Gambit could never fight back. And in general, the solo laners and Cyanide had a perfect match, in my opinion at least, for Fnatic against Gambit. Source on Lulu, he bullied Darren's Mondo in lane, he kept the pressure going throughout the entire match, and every time Darren he tried to push out, he was punished by Source and Fnatic. And Cyanide as well, he just managed to pick up kills in all of his early ganks, and was a big part of the solo laners winning. And sticking with Cyanide, he's been very impressive in the last few games for Fnatic. And if he can keep this performance going, he will actually help the entire Fnatic team have a way stronger early game, and they can just keep growing from there.
And of course, with their win against Gambit, Fnatic is coming into this Super Week with an extra shot of confidence. Let's hear how the victory has made a huge difference for the team.
Yesterday, Fnatic weren't able to change their bad run of result.
I would actually like to see them get out of it pretty soon, and I hope they start with the Gambit game.
Go on then, Becky. Yeah, coming. Good job. Yeah, coming from them.
Let's go!
Nice!
3 people dead from Gambit. Fnatic, they can finish this game.
They're going in for it. They've taken down that Nexus turret, and they're going to go straight for the victory. And Fnatic finally do it. They pick up a win after losing 8 games in a row.
It makes you feel really happy inside of you, like finally we did it.
I feel like I can breathe. It was so heartwarming to just win. I was really happy, and I was actually more relieved.
I really thought we just needed 1 game to gain confidence back.
8 losses in a row is never a good thing, but I think if there was any time we would have to win, it was now, and it was perfect timing.
It's great to see Peke's smile back on his face, and more importantly, Yellowstar, he can breathe at last.
That is very important. Imagine if he just died on the stage or something.
That's quite an important part. So let's check out those starting lineups. Over on the blue side, it is the Copenhagen Wolves. In the top lane is Youngbuck, amazing, twice MVP in the jungle. Kautar in that mid lane, Forgiven AD carry, and Unlimited on support.
And on the red side, we have Fnatic. We have Source in the top lane. We have Cyanide in the jungle. Peke in the mid lane. Reckless is the AD carry. And of course, we have Yellowstar, who can now breathe again on support.
So what do we expect? We're coming into picks and bans between these 2 teams. We've got Reckless was MVP week 1, if I recall.
Yes.
MVP 2 weeks running for Amazing. These guys going up against each other. Last week, I think it was week 6, actually 2 weeks ago. The weeks are blending into one. 2 weeks ago, it was not pretty for Fnatic. What are they going to do to change this game around?
I definitely feel like they need to put Peke on something he's really comfortable on. Not something like a Syndra. He tried it out, it didn't work for him. Put him on a Gragas, put him on Nidalee if it's not banned away by Copenhagen Wolves. Have him more or less go even in the lane. Then when you get out of the lane phase, he can be really strong in the team fights like we know he used to do. And also, you just need Cyanide to roll. If you can get Elise, if you can get Lee Sin away from Amazing, possibly banned away, make sure he doesn't get it, I feel like Fnatic will have a good chance early on.
So do you think that the bans are basically going to be a lot of the junglers? Do you think it's going to be... Because often it used to be mid lane focused heavily, but you got to look at Cyanide. We saw in the pre-show, Cyanide pulled off some big plays against Gambit with that Wukong. We saw Lee Sin, of course, for Amazing. A lot of big plays from these junglers now helping out those mid laners.
I definitely expect Fnatic to ban away the Lee Sin, take it away from Amazing. He showed last week where he first picked it, even though Elise was open, that definitely for him Lee Sin is #1. We've seen all these plays on it, banned away from Fnatic's side. Copenhagen Wolves can then say, you know what, we just ban away the Elise. We don't want to give you the best jungler. And then you have to fall down to something like Wukong, Pantheon, Nocturne. We have a lot of different junglers coming down. So I can definitely see those 2 picks. And also, I kind of feel like Copenhagen Wolves have to ban away the Italy unless they have a hard engaged counter to it. Because we saw Peke on it against Gambit. He went even in the laning phase, got out of the laning phase, started spear after spear after spear. And every time you get hit by a spear, you have to more or less back off and you can't fight. So unless Copenhagen Wolves want to deal with this, they can just ban away.
So what do we make of the likes of Soaz or the AD carries? I mean, we saw Lulu for Soaz the other week. I mean, that worked to great effect up against Darian.
Lulu is an option, but Copenhagen Wolves are first pick. We have seen people first picking Lulu. They don't have to ban. Fnatic would then have to do it, or Copenhagen Wolves could simply just first pick it away and say thank you very much.
Well, there is the LeBlanc and Nidalee picks. Everything focusing on Peke so far, along with that Kassadin pick, which is interesting because I'm not too sure Kautar's played it too often, but then again, nobody's played it too often because he's banned out about 60-odd games so far.
Kautar used to be a very big Kassadin player in the challenger scene before he got into the LCS where he was banned away. But I like this, both LeBlanc and Nidalee, comfort picks for Peke. They want to put it on something where he's not used to play with it or something where they feel they can punish him like they did in the last time they faced each other.
Well, Lee Sin was taken away from Amazing and Elise taken away from Cyanide. That leaves Fnatic with a choice. What's their final ban? Because that means there's going to be a lot of options for Copenhagen Wolves. What would they target for first pick here? If the Lulu is open, I'm surely they're going to go for it.
Yeah, if Lulu is open, I think they're going to first pick it straight away because there's still so many junglers open. And they do actually go in straight with the Lulu pick. Expect it to be mid lane for Kautar because we have seen Unlimited switch to these hard engage supports. And Lulu is definitely not a hard engage. So it could be Kautar getting it mid lane. Combine it with Wukong jungle, Pantheon jungle, Nocturne jungle, so many options. Whenever they jump into the face of the enemy team, pop the ultimate and you have some good CC and you have some very good damage and roaming potential on Lulu.
That is the Wukong for Cyanide, locking that straight in. Worked out great for him up against Gambit, and it will be Caitlyn for Reckless.
So to take away the most safe, most standard AD carry from Forgiven, Lucian is still open. I don't think he minds actually giving them the Caitlyn. Also, it simply meant with the Wukong, they don't want to risk this combo Lulu Wukong. Double CC, a lot of good engage, so they simply take it away straight away and just put it onto Cyanide.
There's a potential for a giant crocodile on the map because Renekton has been locked in, and with that wild growth and dominance, he becomes huge. Meanwhile, of course, Annie. Annie is available now for Unlimited and has locked in. That means it's going to be Annie Lucian we're expecting in the bottom lane for them. How do we count this one? It's going to be an Annie Lucian. Looks like it's going to be up against the Thresh Caitlyn.
Thresh Caitlyn is basically one of the best bottom lanes you can have. You have a lot of harass, you have a lot of good poke potential, you also have a lot of safety because you have your lantern, you have your net onto Caitlyn. It's very hard to kill them. But meanwhile, Annie Lucian, they have more damage straight up in a fight. Pop down the tapers, pop down the burst from Lucian. You will out damage his Caitlyn and Thresh. So it's going to be more about can Copenhagen Wolves engage before they get poked down. Do
we expect to see a Ziggs maybe coming out here? It's generally what we class as the skill matchup. No, Gragas is the other option up against Kautar in that mid lane for Peke.
We have to remember Source actually played Gragas as well, so he could potentially go top with it, but yeah, if it's for the mid lane, it is a comfort pick for Peke. He can do really well farming-wise. He will have some issues early on. Gragas needs a few levels before he can really start wave clearing with his barrels, and that's where Lulu is going to punish him a lot. So he will have a few issues early on, but once he gets some levels, he can start getting the farm he needs, and actually maybe even try and kill Kautar in the mid lane.
I'm wondering whether Forgiven is going to go Lucian. Maybe he'd go Jinx, because if you remember last time he actually worked out very well for him in Jinx, but it will be Lucian locked in instantly. It's his favourite champion currently, so it's no surprise there.
And it's the standard thing for Forgiven. Caitlyn or Lucian, bring some wave clear, safety, you have your dash for the late game, and then simply get the item you need, get into the big fight to make sure you can survive. And that's a very smart pick for him.
This could be amazing going for Evelyn. He's made some great plays, and as we mentioned many times, his kill participation is 80% plus. So expect to see, if he is on that Evelyn, coming tearing out of that jungle, starting fights.
And Evelyn is so annoying to play against, because even if she's just farming away, you don't see her, you don't have vision on her, it is so annoying because you always have to be careful. You're always afraid to all in, because what if she's there, she pops in behind you, and she can just more or less kill you if you go too aggressive.
Yeah, and it is going to force Fnatic into buying the ping wards. It's basically forcing an expense on that team. It's why he's banned away so often. Could be seeing Yasuo. Would this be for Soaz, or would it be for Peke in that mid lane?
If it was a top lane Yasuo, he's gonna have a very hard time against Renekton early, because Renekton is such a lane bully, he's so strong. Yasuo, he wants these items, he wants the static shift, he wants the Infinity Edge before he can really deal out the damage. So he will have some issues against the Renekton, but with some good guys from Cyanide, they might be able to turn that in their favor, and then hope that Evelyn isn't there to counter gank.
just waiting. You can see Soaz on your screen there. This is a potential champion for him. Or will it be the top lane? It's going to be Amundo. It's a big, strong tank.
So kind of the same as Yasuo actually. You want some items on Dr. Mundo before you really can start impacting the map. He will have a hard time in the lane. Renekton will push him down. If Copenhagen Wolves can punish this Mundo pick, if Renekton can shove him down to the turret, and Unlimited runs up, maybe Kautat even roams from the mid lane with Lulu, dive the Dr. Mundo early on, pop the Ignite when he's about to ultimate, and kill him. That's how you punish him. Fnatic, however, could be looking for a lane swap, put Dr. Mundo in a case where he can just farm away, and also same goes for Renekton, and that's also how you counter Evelynn early game. Make sure you lane swap, you force it to either defend the lane, or go to gank a lane, which is already 2v2 or 2v1, so she's not very effective there.
Well, speaking of lane swaps, Copenhagen Wolves are the team that generally do it the most. Would we see something from them?
We could. I mean, Copenhagen Wolves, with this setup, they don't want lane swap. They want the standard lanes because they want Renekton against Mundo to punish it. They want the Anni-Lucian case. Once they hit level 6, the burst they have onto someone like Fresh, if he overextends, they will be able to kill him. Caitlyn will lose some of her damage because she needs to ultimate to charge up. So Copenhagen Wolves want standard lanes. Fnatic, possibly lane swap.
Well, we know that both of these teams have enthusiastic supporters, so let's check in to see who came out on top in the voting. According to the numbers, Fnatic's fans have them winning by 76%. Big vote there. The Fnatic fan base, as always, very strong.
I will say though, looking at the games from today, this is the most 50-50 game we have. 4-game win streak, Copenhagen Wolves. Fnatic just got a win back. Both teams, it's going to be so even.
And Fnatic, for me, I feel that if they win this one, they could go on a tear this weekend. It's a big, big week for everybody involved. 4 games, of course, played by every single team. The tables will be turning completely by the end of this one. Someone could be out ahead. What do we expect in this game?
Looking at the combos, I really like the Copenhagen Wolves setup if they win the early game because they have such an aggressive early game setup with Evelynn, with the Lulu who can roam from the mid lane, and also with Renekton top. Scaling-wise, though, you need to be careful when you're playing against Dr. Mundo, when you're playing against Gragas and Caitlyn. All 3 scale really well into the late game, so Fnatic, if they survive the early one, they might be able to take this in the later stages of the game.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Copenhagen Wolves as the blue team, up against Fnatic as the red team. We'll see whether we get any level 1 shenanigans. Both teams have something they don't really want to face in the jungle. Fnatic, for me, look like the stronger level 1 team, but so often we just don't see the invades anymore.
No, it's again, the thing with the wards, at 130 you can spot pretty much every entrance into your jungle. Makes it very easy to counter if they go in for a late engage on you. If you go 5 people straight in, you don't have a ward to place down because, again, 130. So you more or less just go in there, risk dying or risk being caught out, and it's not really worth it.
Well, we'll see how they work out. Last time around, the Wolves took some early aggression, and it was on Peke. We'll see whether they go for it. Of course, Amazing's going to be wanting to maybe try and start something off.
And talking about the early aggression, we have a Doran's Blade onto Renekton. Starting item, it simply means he wants to shove the lane. He wants to get Mundo to the turret. He wants to have a kill threat onto him. With the Ignite to the teleport as well, there's pretty much no chance for Source to actually get a kill 1v1. So the whole idea for Copenhagen Wolves, shove Source into the turret and then have Evelynn coming up and trying to dive on him.
Is this going to be a bait? Cyanide does just get spotted on towards Amazing there. Don't think we knew he was there finally. The moment he stepped out to put that ward down, backs away.
But this is very smart by Copenhagen Wolves because they can predict now, or they can at least spot out if there was a lane swap from Fnatic side, because they would see the bot lane helping Cyanide do red buff, and then they could swap with them. It's a very nice ward. Make sure that the lanes are pretty much standard, and that's what Copenhagen Wolves want.
And we do see Soaz heading up there. He's going to help out. The leash barrel from Peke will mean that Cyanide starts off on the red buff, and we see Amazing. He's over on the blue. He's going to be taking that one away. Taking a lot of damage, though. Didn't get a lot of help from Youngwook. Youngwook wants to get into that lane early on. Meanwhile, Unlimited gets flayed on already. Has a hold on to that stun. They want to hit that level 2 first.
Yeah, the standard, we want 8 level 2 first. It seems to be in favor of Copenhagen Wolves. They will be able to take down his minion wave. Very nice harass from them.
The stun used pre-level 1 there. Nicely done. Caught Reckless in that stun and forgiven quickly onto that one. Must have been pre-worked on them level 1 strategies.
There's a lot of early game aggression from Copenhagen Wolves, like we know from this bot lane. They love to show off the lane early. And if you're not ready to counter shove it, they will always get you up there, get the early level 2 and put the pressure onto you. Fnatic though, are in a good position. Very close down to their own turret, so even though they will be only level 1 to level 2 of Copenhagen Wolves, they won't be really afraid of dying.
Level 2 hits first for Unlimited, immediately turns around, puts a flame on towards Yellow Star. Very ballsy play, knew exactly the experience they required to hit that level 2 because he could have been walking straight into a death sentence.
So we need to see also how much Yellowstar can do on this Fresh, because they gave Annie over to Unlimited. He's been loving to play it, and they were fine with it. Just picked up a different support for Yellowstar and felt this is what we want. So we need to see how much he can actually do, also laning-wise. Remember also Caitlyn was one of the very early picks, so that was definitely also one they wanted to take away from Forgiven.
Yeah, one of the first picks they made, along with that Wukong for Cyanide, a champion that maybe he's found out does work out well for him. Well, Cyanide himself has had a few rough weeks along with Peke, but at the moment, Countered up against Peke seems to be working well.
Yeah, and look at this, just as we talked about with Lulu early game versus Gragas, who needs some levels before he can really start clearing the waves with his barrels. He's getting harassed down and pretty much pushed straight to his own turret. He's only having 7 CS to 20 from Countered, so a big difference early on.
Peke so far is happy to just sit there on the tower. Doesn't want to go too far. Remember how this one turned out for him. 0-6 last time he faced Countered. Not a good week in the LCS for Peke.
This time around he has a more mobile pick, so if he should be ganked by the Evelyn, which we see actually going towards the top lane, no ward from Source and no pink I mean, so he won't be able to spot him out. And Cyanide actually just recalled. So if they want to go for this dive, they should be able to get it.
Double buffs on Amazing. They may well try and go for this one. Hasn't been spotted yet. Remember, he is invisible, stealthy, but Soaz is playing it very cautiously. Youngbuck's going to have to slice and get the stun down on towards Soaz. That's what he does. He goes for it, gets the stun down, the ignite goes down. The damage is enough, and First Blood easily coming in for Amazing.
And such a standard play by Copenhagen Wolves against the Dr. Mundo. This is what you need to do. Punish him early on where he's weak, and he's not able to shove up the lane, and he's just more or less an easy gank.
Amazing just goes for a loop around, goes towards those golems. Cyanide had just taken them away though. Meanwhile, the mid lane, Peke, look at the harass on him. Glitterlance does catch on the poke there and forces him away. Takes a bit of a tower hit, but it doesn't matter. He's going to keep pressuring that tower.
And he really needs some help from Cyanide. He is nearby. He needs to go in and help Peke. It's going to be very hard though, because Peke is and very, very low, so he won't be able to join in. But if Fnatic doesn't stop this bullying into the mid lane, where Countered is just constantly shoving down Peke, he will continue falling behind.
A stun on towards Yellowstar. Good flame coming out from Unlimited. Forgiven does get the poke back on towards him, dodges out the death sentence, and they are really putting pressure on this bottom lane.
And basically, Copenhagen Wolves is just pressuring every single lane. We had Youngbuck pushing up in the top lane, picking up the kill with Amazing onto Soaz. We have mid lane shoving, we have bot lane shoving. This is standard Copenhagen Wolves early game. Every single lane is very aggressive, and they just want to focus on winning on CS.
First item coming out in the top lane. We do see a pickaxe being picked up for Youngbuck, meanwhile up against the chain vest of Soaz.
So it's a very smart pickup by Source to prevent some of the damage from Youngbuck. If Amazing comes there, he will have a lot of magic damage early on, so he won't do anything with the chain vest. But with the pickaxe onto Youngbuck, he wants to go for this Tiamat early, so he can just continue shoving down the lane and putting pressure.
Meanwhile in the mid lane, as we see Countered, he's been back on himself that Chalice. Meanwhile, we see Peke, of course, went for the double Doran's ring. So struggling a little, and you can see double the CS now for Countered on this Lulu. Really putting pressure on Peke.
And generally speaking, if you can't afford your Chalice on the first buy, you're really, really far behind. And now Peke actually going on to Countered.
Gonna get the belly slam down on him. He does manage to use the barrel on towards him. Quick pick turned on from Countered. Just gonna step away from this one. There's no mana. Oh, they ignite. It's got enough. Peke makes the play.
Giant misplay by Countered. He walks into the body slam of Peke, gets engaged on, and he has no counterplay to it. And Peke simply just follows him down, body slams him one more time, ignites, and picks up a kill. And the only thing Countered had to do was just harass from distance. He never had to go into range of Peke.
Just didn't even seem to counter that. Ignite would follow through. As soon as I realized he's out of mana, he's got no cooldowns. Nope, Ignite is ready and waiting to go, and Countered could have flashed away from that at any time. Chose to flash right at the end.
But that was such a beautiful play by Peke. He really took advantage of the mistake from Countered. That's one of the most important things when it comes to professional gaming. If you see someone make a mistake, you need to punish him. This time around, he spotted Countered, making a mistake, took the kill, and he now got some gold back instantly, went back and also bought some early magic resist.
What we do see, yeah, like you say, magic resist and the boots as well, so he's got mobility to go with it. Amazing spotted out Cyanide here. Is going to come in towards this buff. Remember, Amazing will be coming in stealth. Cyanide is starting off. That ward will not spot him. And now he's going to come around. Now he will get seen out in a moment. He will go down towards Cyanide. He's got Countered joining. Oh, they guessed wrong. He thought he was going to go off to the side there. Youngbuck came into cover as well, so it was a 3-man invade for the Copenhagen Wolves, but they get the red buff.
And they really take advantage of the fact that Amazing is level 6, and also the fact that Source couldn't move from top because he's all the way down to his own turret. So smart move, get the red, and now Countered, not enough mana on Peke to actually kill him, so this time around he feels safe just running past him.
Yeah, does walk back, and of course he does have the ignite as well. Make sure he gets that siege minion, will take down all of the gold on that tower, so nothing being wasted. But Peke is trying to detract here, maybe pull him towards the race, but they have a ward, so they saw exactly how that was happening, playing out there. Kautar's going to take the blue buff, heads back to the mid lane.
And we need to see how long this pink ward in the river for Fnatic side actually is gonna last. It's been there for a while, they put it out on the first buy, and nobody from Copenhagen Wolves have actually been around this area, so they haven't spotted out anyone yet. But if they can keep this one going, maybe even for a dragon fight, it's gonna be a big advantage for them.
Yeah, Copenhagen Wolves got their own pink ward as well up and towards the red buff, which is what they just started off. Blue buff's given across to Peke. He needs that quite a lot in that mid lane, of course, because that chalice for Kautar, he doesn't have one of his own. The mana is draining.
And this is the point for Gragas where he can really start farming. He's level 7, he has 4 ranks into his queue, and also he has the blue buff, so he can now constantly shove it down, or at least try to shove down the waves with his barrel. We see it here, almost clearing the wave. So if he puts down one when the wave comes, he can put down one more later on before the back minions actually die. So this is the point for him really to start farming away. He's also going towards the waves.
Let's talk about that bottom lane. We haven't had a chance to glimpse at them for a while. We do see a BF sword on Forgiven now. He's got 80 CS up against Reckless's 61, so a bit of a gap developing there in terms of farm.
And the early level 2 standard Copenhagen Wolves where they shove off the lane very aggressive early on, gave them a CS lead, and also the fact they're playing is very, very aggressive with both Annie and Lucian, have a lot of harass, and they're putting it down beautifully. Sanad, he is down in the bot lane, but it's going to be hard for him to set something up unless we can get a hook in from Yellow Star.
Youngbuck is dominating this top lane right now. 86 to 60 CS, and that tower is working down very quickly. 9.5 minutes in. Remember, Soaz has that teleport, but he doesn't want to have to make use of it so early. We do see Cyanide and Yellowstar coming up towards this mid lane, but they're going to get spotted out by Svenskeren.
And here's one of the things Fnatic can do, and it seemed they were almost setting up for it, is let the top tower go because it's so low, and just have Source teleporting down to Dragon, take it away, at least get something from losing your top turret, because this is going to go down no matter what. And if Youngbuck then roams down towards the Dragon, Copenhagen Wolves can actually pick it up. So Fnatic needs to be fast if they want to get this early Dragon with the teleport from Source.
The Copenhagen Wolves have been very good at dragon control over the last few weeks. It's definitely something they've stepped up, and you know, obviously we saw from Youngbuck that tweet just a couple of weeks ago saying how they needed to change their rotations, their mid-game, just how they play really in general, how they communicate as a team, and it seems to have worked so far. Amazing puts that ward right in front of Cyanide, doesn't quite get the reset on it. Amazing past the pink ward, they finally spot it.
Yeah, they spotted out clearly where he almost went out of the bush actually before he saw it. Very nice for them because there's no pink ward left on Fnatic side, so they won't have this vision of Amazing roaming around the river. He can move towards bot lane, he can move toward mid lane through this bush now, and that's very big for him, and it puts a lot of more pressure onto Fnatic.
Slow tactical play in the first 10 minutes. Currently a 2,000 gold advantage building up for the Copenhagen Wolves. It is a pretty big deal considering they have already taken down. Kautar heading in. Peke's got to be careful. He's going to get blown in towards the tower. Wild Growth was used. Is there enough damage, though, coming out from Peke? I'm not too sure there is. Kautar should be able to get away. Double flash turns around. Kautar tries to go back aggressive. Takes a barrel to the face. Amazing finally joins there. Peke cannot stick around.
He seems he's going to stick around, though. He does have his body slam. He is slowed. Will Amazing go for this one?
He has got his ultimate available, goes in towards it. Kautar's far too far away. Tries to use that picks, gets in there! Gets the kill. Amazing tanks it up. It's a second for Amazing.
And meanwhile in the bot lane we also have kills coming in. Lucian went down, but Cyanide also went down in the gank.
Yeah, Yellowstar and Reckless. It was Yellowstar that picked up the kill. We'll maybe take a look at that one in a few moments, but Unlimited all on his own down this bottom tower, just keeping him at bay with Tibbers.
So, talking about what we just saw in the mid lane, meanwhile we see some action here. Tibbers actually doing quite a lot of damage, but two things mid lane. First of all, Kautar predicted the flash body slam from Peke. That's why he actually flashed before Peke and didn't get hit by it. Next up, Amazing joins in for the fight. He's predicting the body slam from Peke, flashes in front of him, so body slam goes straight into his face, and he actually picks up the kill. Very nice play by both Copenhagen Wolves players.
So, how does this stack up for the lanes at the moment, of course? This is going to be the kill down the bottom lane.
Sanad coming in here with the lantern, very nice, and they actually land the hook from Yellowstar. Pops Forgiven pretty much instantly, but Sanad he's stuck under the turret, stunned up by Unlimited with the Tibbers, and goes down.
So, nice counterplay from Unlimited, but he'd actually just gone up the river to place them wards down, which is unfortunate, or more fortunate for Fnatic fans to get that timing down there. So, let's look across the board. We can see it's 3 kills to 2 for the Copenhagen Wolves. 2 of those kills again are for Amazing. The top lane is really being dominated right now by Youngbuck.
But it is to be expected when you have Renekton, you pick him to win the lane. And Dr. Mundo, you don't pick him to go go even or win. You pick him to just go late game and become this very, very tanky guy that's so hard to deal with. So for Fnatic side, as long as he can keep farming on Source, it's fine. And Kautar being caught out.
Kautar's well out of position, does use that wild growth, but it's not going to be enough, I don't feel. There's the explosive cast. Kautar hasn't got flash available. He's just trying to use that pick to run away. Can he get away? One more hit from Cyanide. It's not quite going to be enough. The death sentence doesn't land. He will have the dash. The play comes in from Yellow Star. And Youngbuck, meanwhile, takes down Peke in the jungle.
And we just have action everywhere at the moment. First of all, Kautar went in to actually ward very deep in the jungle from Fnatic, got caught out, and actually had to use Yellow Star to get the kill from Cyanide. He didn't had his Q ready in time to pick up the kill by himself. Meanwhile, though Renekton moved all the way down from top lane and took down a kill on Peke.
So, Tiamat now completed for Youngbuck, and you can see he's at 1-0-1, amazing 2-0-1, working out well for the top and jungle. But for Fnatic, it's all about that support getting the kills.
Simply just Youngbuck moving down, popping his ultimate. At this point, Peke has already used his ultimate, he's used everything, and as soon as Youngbuck comes in, pops ultimate, flashes in, gets the kill he needs.
Double Youngbucks there on the screen, he just backed away, which means the dragon setup may well happen here. Amazing's already in place, so we'll come around and get that pink ward down. He will clear out, there's a ward there already, he's just going to clear that one out.
And notice how Copenhagen Wolves have picked up 3 sweeping lenses very early on into the game because they want to have the pressure onto Fnatic, they want to clear the wards and maybe set up something like a dragon or some kills in the jungle of Fnatic. And that's also why we saw Kautar moving in so deep into the jungle of Fnatic to ward.
Well, we do see Amazing coming out towards this mid lane. We do have Unlimited nearby as well. He's not going to come in and catch on towards there though. Talking about supports, we've got 1 kill for Unlimited, 2 kills for Yellow Star. These are not really where the kills want to go.
Generally not, you want to have it on your carries, but actually early kills onto supports are not too bad because it gives some vision control and also it gives you maybe an early talisman that can be very good for starting fights or backing off in fights.
Well, so far it looks like the Copenhagen Wolves are going to be starting off the dragon. Remember they used that pink ward a while ago. This is complete no vision for Fnatic whatsoever. They're not going to defend this one. They're not even going to take another objective. Can they take the top turret? I'm not sure they can. Youngbuck's already heading up there. That mid lane turret may also go down. They could be 3-0 in turrets at this rate.
And this is the early game aggression from Copenhagen Wolves we talked about in the pre-game. How they changed everything with we want to win the lanes, pick up some sweeping lenses, deny vision, and then just take objectives, turrets, and push down and just win by that. We don't need to straight up fight.
Just a couple more hits. Fnatic desperately trying to defend this one. Really just a small breeze would take it down right now. And Kautar Unlimited are there. We do see Forgiven. Now he's coming back up. Got himself that Bloodthirster completed, heading towards the Trinity Force next item. Still yet to buy boots.
But Forgiven, he's very far ahead compared to Reckless. Bloodthirster completed, he can stack it up to 30. That's 30 extra attack damage when it's fully stacked. He can get these 30 attack damage, and he has the Sheen. So his upfront burst, if a fight should start, is very, very high at the moment.
Pink ward just got placed by Cyanide, gets immediately removed by Youngbuck. That's not good. That's an investment of gold that is not going to pay off.
We have to see what Copenhagen will decide to do now because Source is left up to farm top. That's what he wants to do. He wants to get the farm here in the early game. Meanwhile, Youngbuck is actually rotated down towards the mid lane, but they're not in a position to take the turret, at least yet. It only takes more or less 2 people to come in that can actually get it because Fnatic is staying in to try and defend, but there are only 2 people at the moment, and Copenhagen could actually have taken it.
Yeah, while this is all happening, while they're trying to keep it at bay, we can see Forgiven, he's down the bottom, getting himself free farm. We do see Youngbuck, he continuously goes across the jungle, clearing it all out. Spirit Visage being built up now. Meanwhile, Sunfire Cape has been built by Soaz, but he is desperately falling behind. He is going to become that tank, as you mentioned. He will become a problem in the late game.
In the late game, he's so hard to kill, but with a combo, and also, especially with a combo from Copenhagen Wolves side, because Lulu, she won't have damage to kill a tank late game. It's going to be all about Forgiven actually taking him down, and that can be an issue for Copenhagen Wolves if it go really late. I have to look at the items also from Unlimited. He picked up a Relic Shield after the laning phase, which is a bit weird for me. This doesn't decide to go Talisman to even have more mobility on the team. Instead, he wants to have this shield he can put onto his possibly the AD carry or Evelyn or Necton. But it's not going to do too much compared to having the mobility from a Talisman, so I'm not too sure about that item build.
See where it goes currently. It's Copenhagen Wolves are going to push in, take that mid-tank turret. Unlimited thought about it there, thought about rushing into maybe Flash Tibbers. There was 3 juicy targets for him, but instead they saw Peke down the bottom, and they're not going to go for it.
And Fnatic, obviously the tower was so low, they just gave it up, didn't want to take a chance. Meanwhile, they have both solo laners farming the side lanes, and this is what they need to do. Simply try and get some farm on every single member at the moment. Just try and extend the game, go to late game. I don't even think they care about giving up the next dragon, because if they're not in a position to fight, against this mid-game combo from Copenhagen Wolves, they might just end up going in, getting aced, and that would be even worse than just staying in your lanes, give up objectives, and just try and farm.
Problem is here though, Cyanide's been having to run defensive duties in that mid lane for so long that he's had those wraiths taken away from him. The Reds finally spawned. He may well get it this time around, but they've been in his jungle the whole time, and you only need to look at the difference between Amazing and Cyanide to see how it's playing out.
And that's simply very smart play by Copenhagen Wolves to use the advantage of all the lanes being stronger. It's very hard to do anything as a jungler. Look down here, Peke. Amazing is actually nearby. He's going for him.
He's going to go straight in though. I'm not sure he's going to fight this one. Instead, he's just going to run away. But that's the ultimate already used out. And look at what it did to Amazing. Next to nothing.
And he also has a Hex Drinker, so even if he had dropped low, shield would have popped. Been very hard for Peke to actually kill him.
Awards continue to go down. It's what keeps the crowds entertained these days, really. It has been since the Season 2 days. I completely blame Evil Geniuses and Wolverine for that one, by the way.
To be fair, it was a very long game. You needed something to cheer for, I remember that. And the crowd, yeah, they loved the awards.
It was CLG EU back in the day, of course. But Forgiven, he's going to be careful he doesn't get captured out here. Cyanide thought about coming around the side, but it's some great ward vision from the Copenhagen Wolves on this bottom half of the jungle.
And notice how both teams seem to be happy just waiting it out. Copenhagen Wolves, they're waiting for the next dragon to spawn so they can pick it up, extend the goal lead. Fnatic, they're just waiting to get farmed. They don't want to try and risk anything. You saw Peke going for Amazing, did his combo, and then he just backed off. He didn't want to chase, he wasn't desperate for a kill, because they know their combo late game is very, very strong if they can just continue getting some gold somewhere. So we see both teams kind of waiting out. And it's a bit a shame, because we just had so much action a few minutes ago where people just died left and right, and we would love to see that again.
Sporadic bursts of action, but 4 members of the Copenhagen Wolves have all just been back to buy. They've got themselves a pocket full of wards, which they're all pulling up towards this lower half of the jungle. As you mentioned, that dragon up in 1 minute 20. They're making sure they get full vision of it before it happens.
And there's actually some very good vision from Fnatic's side into their own jungle. You see double pink, and now closing in on Regulus with Youngbuck.
Straight stun on towards him, has to use the flay. The hook on Forgiven. They may follow this one through. Forgiven has to flash away. Cyanide quickly closing in. The rest of the team coming in from the side there. Kautar gets in. Wild Growth used on Forgiven. Stun on towards Cyanide. The Ignite's running. It will get the kill. The culling comes out. That takes down Yellowstar. Now they're coming on towards Peke. Peke throws out his explosive cast, but it's just not enough damage. And that, Svenska Amazing getting took down at the side there by Reckless. Good counter kill.
So Fnatic actually gets the hook onto Unlimited. Forgiven, sorry. They thought they could go for the kill, but then we see Lulu, mid-game power. She comes in from the side, pops ultimate, pops the shield onto Forgiven, and he's just not going down. Copenhagen Wolves turned around, pick up the kill onto Cyanide, and then Yellowstar. This was perfect for them because they get 2 kills, Dragon spawning in 25 seconds, and we know that it's going to be very hard for Fnatic to fight. So that was absolutely perfect for them. Notice the roam, starting onto Reckless, very nice hook by Yellowstar though, popping the combo onto Forgiven with Cyanide here. The damage though, that is gone, because Reckless, he's very little damage with Caitlyn at this point, and with Lulu ultimate, the rest of Copenhagen was joining in, they're simply the stronger and gets the kills they want.
Yeah, Amazing just went too deep there. You can see taking all of the tower hits. Reckless just turns it around. The tower hit does the final damage.
He went a little bit too hand.
Meanwhile, look down at the dragon. We can see Fnatic getting in there. They're going to take this one away. And Fnatic secure themselves the dragon. Now they're going to have to run. You can see quick pop talisman. Run the hell out of there. Copenhagen Wolves chasing, but they're not quick enough. They may go for the mid turret though.
And that was such a smart play by Fnatic. They instantly went down, had the timer, took it. Youngbuck, he was towards the top side. He was out of position. Doesn't look like Copenhagen Wolves beat this out of position, but if they can take the mid turret, they might get something for it.
Explosive cast used. It forces Amazing back. Pops that Cyclone, but Wild Growth quickly forces him away. Youngbuck now tanking up the turret. He slices away. Is he got far enough? That's the question. Kautar Forgiven. Everybody trying to run interference here. Unlimited gets caught by one of those cleavers from Soaz. The Piltover also whistling past him. He does use that stun, doesn't quite catch it. Barrel rolling back out there. They're trying to turn this one back around. Coming in this time. Amazing manages to put his ultimate down. Can he catch on towards anyone else? A lot of damage going back and forth. They've gone for the Cyclone, gone for the clone. They shouldn't have gone for the right target. Peke then goes back in. It's just 1 kill. That's all they've got from all of that action. They're still chasing on towards Amazing. Can they hold on to this turret?
Such a messy fight. First, Copenhagen Wolves at the turret. Fnatic decides to engage on them, chase them all the way down through the mid lane. Copenhagen Wolves constantly try to lay some pressure. They turn around, but Fnatic is still stronger, and they manage to pick up a kill onto Unlimited and this mid turret. So the last 1 minute for Fnatic, absolutely perfect. First, they get a dragon they shouldn't be able to take because they were behind against the mid-game combo. Second of all, they win the team fight in mid and take the mid turret. So very nice play by Fnatic.
And I feel like a broken record right now. We've said this so many times to the Copenhagen Wolves. The 15 to 25 minute phase for the Copenhagen Wolves can often be so reckless, so sloppy. And a Fnatic there, up against a team like that, they will punish you. No matter what their form is like currently, they will find that opportunity to punish you.
And there's just as we saw, they spotted our Youngbuck being away from the Dragon. That's why they went there, took it away. Copenhagen Wolves, if the shot calling had been correct, would have been in the position for it. It wasn't. So just as you mentioned, we might still see a few issues here in the 25 or 22 to 25 minute mark, which they have to still sort.
It's just a 3-minute gap.
Yeah, I meant 15 minutes to 25 minutes.
25.
Same,
We
different
knew
numbers.
what you meant. We know what you meant. It's all right. Timing's never a strong point of a support player. At the moment, we do see Amazing heading in there. You just threw water all down yourself. That's beautiful.
It's going to look good, don't worry.
It's okay. It'll look wonderful on camera when you guys get to see him again.
No, I got a
now,
grey
though,
shirt on.
The Copenhagen Wolves are pushing in towards Fnatic's jungle and trying to get that vision down. Lichbane now built on Coutard. Amazing. Getting himself some vision in there, poking in towards it. They want to get on towards that inner turret.
Definitely. Want to get towards this inner turret. Meanwhile, I have still quite a lot of water on me.
Yeah, you have.
It's gonna dry, don't worry. We have the light here going on. So back to the game though. Fnatic defending the mid turret. Copenhagen Wolves, we need to see what they want to do here because they lost the last few minutes. Fnatic got some goal back. We need to see if Copenhagen Wolves want to keep up the pressure or they want to try maybe extend the game themselves.
Well, they're trying to take over the vision of the blue buff area at the moment. They're waiting, they're hoping that someone's going to come through jungle. You can see Amazing and Unlimited sat there. Maybe trying to set up a little gank pairing in towards that bush. The rest of the Copenhagen Wolves are coming around as well. Peke is just going to farm out. No, he's not going to take the bait. I can see they're pinging on towards Cyanide, but he's not going to take the bait. Instead comes in, puts the ward down. Blue buff stolen away by Amazing.
A nice move by Copenhagen Wolves. Fnatic wasn't in a position to fight. We had Yellow Star towards the turret and also Reckless at the base. Didn't want to go in for this one. Get the blue buff, small victory for them, and now we need to simply see them do something. Sora's actually catching out Coutard.
Sora's going deep on towards him. Cyanide's looking to chase on towards it as well, but he can just pop that shield back away, throw out the Glitter Lance, and that Lichbane, it will be hurting.
It will be hurting, and this, once he picks up the Death Cap onto Lulu, he has the 3 main core items to his damage. He can pop pretty much anyone with a lot of instant burst, except for Sora, who's going to be very, very tanky and very hard to deal with, especially also with this Warmonks.
Dead Sentence flashing past from Yellow Star. That may well then turn around fight for Coutard. The 2 AD carries are both away in the bottom lane at the moment, so this is a straight 4-on-4, although Peke was pushing that top lane. The top lane turret actually is going to take some pressure from the minions, which may buy them time. Amazing, taking down those wards.
So too little minion wave though to actually do anything. Meanwhile, Copenhagen Wolves, they kept forgiving bot because they figured he could beat Reckless 1v1, so they want to pressure Fnatic that way. He has rotated mid. All 5 members are here. They need to push up this mid wave and get Reckless to move there, otherwise he's going to get too much farm.
So as is part undecided, he wants to push for that top tower, and I think he's been given the all clear by his team. He is one of the main shot callers for that team, by the way, so he will be making this decision saying they can't push on that tower. Everybody holds it, I'll push and take the top.
And it's a big issue for Copenhagen Wolves. They're more or less stuck. There's nothing they can really do. They can't push anywhere. Great wave clear from Caitlyn. Great wave clear from, obviously, Gragas. So it's very hard for them to actually do something before the next Dragon. When it's up, though, if they have the proper vision control and want to take the fight, that's where Copenhagen Wolves has the advantage.
Look, he's a long way ahead in builds. I just realised that across the 2 top laners, he's actually got that Randians and Spirit Visage along with the Tiamat, where it's Sunfire and Spirit Visage. It's all that. Actually, tell him light. That's not a Spirit Visage, is it? Okay, I see how SOS is built. He's gone a bit different.
So as basically said, I want to defend myself against both armor and magic damage.
Throw
so
the
I build a
Warmonks
Warmonks.
yep.
Straight up HP, it's the best defensive stat if you want to have against both. So smart by him, and it also makes him very hard to generally deal with because he's going to regen so much health when he pops his ultimate.
Well, since the summer of 2013, I've kind of tried to block out Warmogs because there were so many Warmogs being used back in that period of time. But as it stands, so as it's going to continue shoving on that top lane, you can see he's closing in on the 4,000 hit point area, and he will be taking down that top turret. The minions will do it for him.
Very smart because he has the teleport ready. If a fight should break out, he can join down. He can continue pushing, apply pressure. 2 seconds for the Dragon. We see Copenhagen Wolves move into a position where they can start clearing out the wards, get the control, and then maybe start a fight in their favor.
Well, 1 Dragon apiece so far for Wolves and Fnatic. It's all tied 1-1 in games. Let's see who can take this one this time around, because the gold, well, it will certainly pull heavily in Fnatic's favor if they can go and get it. Copenhagen Wolves have already started off here. Amazing's already on this one. They are just running interference with Coutard and Youngbuck.
We see the pings to fall back from Fnatic already. They don't want to contest against this combo. Who coming on to Youngbuck?
Oh, it's only Youngbuck they caught though, and I don't think that's really someone they want to go for. They may well get caught out of position here. Reckless took a Glitter Lance there. Didn't want to get too heavy, but Fnatic, whoa, this is risky play. They're going to push for the tower.
And we actually might see an engagement here from the side of Copenhagen Wolves.
Youngbuck goes on towards Cyanide, and so as Cyanide still holding on. That's going to be the ultimate from Yellowstar. They do manage to knock back Youngbuck, just slides himself away. Amazing gone a little bit too deep there. Can you see the death sentence? Ace in the hole will come through. That's going to force Amazing away.
And notice here the issue from Copenhagen Wolves. Youngbuck goes in from one side, and now the hook coming onto him.
Flash death sentence comes out. Explosive cast forces him back, but he quickly flashes out of it. Cyanide caught in position. Cyclone doing nothing. And the Copenhagen Wolves, now they're thinking we can take it.
So here's the thing. Fight-wise, Copenhagen Wolves, they need both Youngbuck and Amazing to go onto Reckless if they want to kill him. This time around, Amazing came from one side, Youngbuck came through the middle. Nobody really got towards Reckless, so you could just net away, no chance of him dying, and it simply meant Copenhagen Wolves had to back off. The combo here for them is either go all in, pop someone, or just back off.
So as he's going up towards that top lane, but he's got two members of the Copenhagen Wolves closing in. Kautard and Amazing all coming in here. He's only got 1,000 hit points. He doesn't have that ultimate. He's going to try and run it now as much as he can, but I don't think he's going to have the regen. It was quickly countered by the Ignite.
So very nice of Copenhagen Wolves to punish Source for overextending. He still had the teleport, he felt comfortable, he can just go up top, continue pushing, teleport somewhere if something should happen. Meanwhile though, this means the rest of Copenhagen Wolves can now go towards his top lane, but a minion wave is coming with them.
Copenhagen Wolves all shoving in there, and well, Fnatic not even close to responding here. Pekka is going to teleport back, but that tower's going to take a hell of a lot of damage before anyone gets near it.
Forgiven is very far away though, so he won't be joining in, he's doing a lot of damage to the turrets. So is a Lich Bane Lulu though.
Reckless is going to be careful, he doesn't go too deep on that one. Cyanide slides himself in there. Cyclone not available yet, but the sheer pressure of it was enough to force him back. Outside, just baiting out that hook. Not going to land this time from Yellowstar.
So what we saw, if we go all the way back to the Dragon, Fnatic didn't feel like fighting for it, they wanted to shove down the mid, Copenhagen Wolves want to set up the fight, but unless they get the perfect engage, they can't kill Reckless, and that's an issue for them. It simply means they're waiting for Fnatic to chase them down, and then counter-engage after they poked enough with Lucian calling, and also with the damage for Kautard, and it's going to make some very weird team fights. It's going to be hard for both teams to actually kill each other.
Okay, will get himself the blue buff, so both mid laners this time around will have blue, which means their cooldown and mana will be running that much stronger. Looking across the AD champions, you can see that Reckless is actually, like you say, he was a long way behind Forgiven, and he still is. Last Whisper now completed, along with that Trinity Force Bloodthirsty had a long time ago. Meanwhile, finally, we do see it. The Last Whisper was just bought by Reckless.
Yeah. The fact he actually had 2,300 gold when he backed, he got it now, meaning the AD carries are pretty much even. And Reckless, he's just going to be stronger and stronger on this Caden. We know his positioning is pretty much perfect every team fight. So as long as he can keep farming, keep getting these items, just with the 3 core items here, he's going to do a lot of damage. Hard for him to kill Youngbuck, but the rest of Copenhagen Wolves can die to him at least.
That's still the only thing that Youngbuck has, and he must be sitting on quite a large amount of gold himself as well. We do see the rest of Copenhagen Wolves. That's a lot. I don't know what he spent it all on, but he hasn't got a lot lately. Copenhagen Wolves, look at this. Look at Limited. He really wanted the fight there, charging up that mid lane with those boots of mobility.
And they didn't have vision on Pekka, so they thought he was either in base or far away, so they thought they could take this fight in favor of them, but he was actually nearby if a fight should have started. Meanwhile though, Copenhagen was rotating into the Fnatic jungle. Fnatic, they seem to just pushing down mid lane.
Are they going to go deep for Soaz here? And say you say Fnatic are just pushing straight down their mid lane. They don't care. They may well get in towards that inner turret. Copenhagen Wolves are caught napping here. They're not even anywhere near this one. They're going to have to tank for it. Teleport comes in from Soaz. He's going to join it. It's 5 members of Fnatic pushing in the mid.
And they can take this fight because Copenhagen Wolves are coming from behind, so it's been very hard for them to actually disengage if Copenhagen Wolves gets onto them. But they can maybe get this mid turret.
Soaz completely running interference here. Fnatic have got themselves a tactical advantage, but will it work out? That tower has to go down to make it count. Now they can turn the fight on him. Amazing's trying to get in there. Youngbuck's caught on towards Cyanide. Cyanide's so low, but that Cyclone is going to run. Youngbuck's almost taken out of this one. The rest of the Copenhagen Wolves closing around the side, but the Fnatic, all they need to do now is dash away. Cyanide's happy to run around. Oh, he's going to get caught, stunned, locked up. He will go down, but simply one death is not enough. Can they get more? Fnatic Peke is going to back off, and then you see Youngbuck, he's going to get chased out here. Fnatic have done a fantastic job at closing him out. Look at that Glitter Lance though from Kautard. Dodges out the death sentence, continues to chase on them. Forgiven comes back around the side. They are continuing to chase. Youngbuck laying in wait. Is he going to go for them? No, he's going to back off. What a great play from Fnatic.
And these team fights are just kite against kite. Nobody can really take each other down. Only one member died from a straight up 5 versus 5. 2 turrets though in favor of Fnatic, so they definitely won out on this one. And also they now have an open inhib in case Copenhagen Wolves decides to move somewhere else. They can just go straight down, pick up the inhib.
They're closing in on Youngbuck. Soaz is coming around the side, lands that cleaver, and look at this. Yellowstar comes to join the party. They have got a tower to defend with, though. Dodges out from that death sentence. They'll take the tower nonetheless.
And again, just fine for Fnatic. They didn't even need this kill onto Youngbuck. Just the fact they get all this global gold to all the members by taking down these turrets is a huge win for them. Meanwhile, though, Copenhagen Wolves have started the Baron.
Not sure that's going to quite work out for them. Amazing was tanking it out. It's like, no, you can't tank it anymore. There was this patch some weeks ago that maybe turned it around. Youngbuck's taken down there, but Peke and Yellowstar are a long way from this fight. They're going to try and take the Baron down. Cyanide, though, is close by, and he has a history of stealing these things.
And we need to see, they need to constantly clear these wards to deny him the vision, otherwise he will be able to come in. And Reckless is also there doing a lot of damage.
Not going to get it. That's the Baron for the Copenhagen Wolves, but what will they do with it? They're going to have to back to base and spend some of that gold. Crazy, crazy game. Starting to heat up now.
Everything just exploded. Very smart move by Fnatic first, but then they stayed bot lane. After they took down the bot turret, they stayed there to kill Youngbuck. Smart move by Copenhagen Wolves, instantly going up 4 members to the Baron, and they picked it up.
Dragon, though, has spawned, and you can see Fnatic straight on that. That's going to keep that gold much tighter than it should be. It's going to take them to, what, just 1,000 gold differential, 2,000 gold differential between the two teams. Peke going to clear out this bottom lane once again, shove it on towards the towers. Everybody sitting on a mountain of gold. They're all going to go back and buy.
And while we have the Baron buff onto Copenhagen Wolves, the same issue will be there as we saw earlier in the game. The wave clear on Fnatic's side, the 3,000 gold onto Gragas. Once he spends them, he picks up something like a Void Staff. It's going to be so easy for Fnatic to just constantly shove up the waves. You have so much attack damage onto Reckless as well. His Q is more or less going to destroy the minion wave. So if Fnatic can just keep it defending like they've been doing so far, we might not actually see something happening, even though there's a Baron buff onto Copenhagen Wolves.
He's going to time it just right. 4 members of Copenhagen Wolves pushing up the mid lane. Can they follow through on that minion? Because Fnatic, while they've been doing a great job at defending you, they've been trying to push for that inner turret for the last 15 to 20 minutes. It's not been working out.
And look at the items onto Soaz. He had a hard time early on, but he just stayed there. He kept farming. He's still behind, but simply due to the fact that he's going full tank. No Tiamat there. He's a lot more tanky than his Renekton. With his ultimate, he's going to regen so much HP. So Soaz, he's going to be so hard to deal with because he got so many tanky items already. And he might even go for something like a Thornmail or Randuns as the next, making it even harder for Lucian to kill him.
Looks like a Guardian Angel may well be coming out from Peke as well. Chain Vest in there. We'll see where it goes in towards. Blue buff had just respawned, so the Copenhagen Wolves trying to steal that one away. We'll go across to Forgiven. So that's going to be cooldowns. They need to really be pushing. I think the bottom lane, that's where they're going to be aiming for. And that's where they're heading.
And it's a very smart move. They want to rotate from mid to bot. See if Fnatic is left at their own turret, and they can maybe get some hits there. They have the shield from Lulu they can put onto Lady Carry, who can then go in and hit the turret a few times. And that's kind of how they want to take them down, unless Fnatic decides to just straight up engage.
Well, Amazing and Youngwood were sticking around, trying to pull something off. Amazing's actually been hooked in there. Death Sentence goes on towards him, and he takes a good chunk of damage, and they're not really getting the damage they want on towards his turret. Of course, Lichbane on counter will help them take it down a bit quicker, but this Baron buff, well, it is running low.
They still get some pretty good damage onto the turret. If they can do this the next wave, if Fnatic is not in position to actually straight up defend it, they will be able to take it down, move on to the next one. It will be very hard though, because look at this, barrel is already on the ground, will explode with these minions. Pretty much just one-shot them.
There goes the barrel, there goes the minions. It is a siege minion, it's the strongest one they're going to get. They've hooked on counter, they're going to follow through on towards him, but is it going to be enough? Cyanide has to quickly get out of that one. There was a Dominus used. Youngbuck panicked, he thought the fight was on, as was the Tibbers, but Fnatic didn't pull the trigger.
Now the single ultimate was used from Fnatic's side. That is huge for them if they decide to fight for this one. It also means Copenhagen Wolves have to be more careful when staying here, trying to siege him. We might even see them backing off.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to try and fight this one out there. The Baron buff will be wearing out in a couple of seconds' time. You can see Soaz continuing to cause himself a pain, throwing those cleavers out from the side there. Another Death Sentence will almost certainly be followed. You can see Yellowstar looking towards it. They're going to catch on towards Amazing. Cleavers on him. Soaz is really bullying down Amazing, forcing him away from the fight.
And notice how easy it is for Fnatic to just clear this wave every single time. Copenhagen Wolves have to pressure multiple lanes, but they won't really ever get towards the turret. In the advantage is the top lane pushing, but it's going so slowly, it won't really get to the tower in time. And Coutard, he might even want to try and catch our Source.
He gets towards him and gets a cleaver in the face. And Fnatic have done a successful defensive job. They're going to try and rotate around. They're trying to push in towards that middle turret, but I'm not too sure they're going to be quick enough. Instead, they're going to rush towards the top.
And if they can actually get up there with the big minion wave, they can get some damage onto it. But meanwhile, mid, it's fairly low. They might be able to take it.
They've gone in there, but you can see the barrels come in. The tower goes down. The culling comes out. Soaz is taken really low here. A good wild growth knocking up Cyanide as well. Soaz is going to back away from this one. Youngbuck can't quite get the kill. Cyanide gets away. They're going to turn around and chase. The ultimate run in from Soaz just keeps him full health. And well, it was a tower nonetheless, but they can't get the kills.
They can never get the kills. They don't have the damage to pick it up. We didn't have Tibbers. We didn't have the ultimate from Youngbuck this fight. And they simply didn't manage to pick up anything other than the turret. They had to be happy with just getting one thing. It was a good rotation from them going there. The turret was already in like 35% when they got there. Pulled it in, took some damage onto it, killed it. And then the fight, just like we've seen all game, these fights back and forth. There are so few people dying because the damage is not there to kill each other.
Yeah, they just don't quite have enough poke. And when it's the likes of Cyanide and Soaz are going in, they are the tankiest members of Fnatic, and everybody else is staying at safe range. Banshee's Veil now has been completed by Yellowstar, so even the supports are starting to pull out the big items. It's a 60,000 gold game between these two teams, just a 3,000 or 2,000 gold differential between them. And the Baron, well, it's going to be up in just shy of 2 minutes, as well as the Dragon in a minute. That's going to be the next focus.
And going back towards Unlimited and his items, we talked about it early on with the Relic Shield. He actually only upgraded once to the Targons. He didn't decide to fully upgrade it. So he's more or less getting nothing from it at the moment, except very few tank stats. Meanwhile, on the other side, Banshee's Veil, and also you have the Talisman onto Yellowstar. So if they want to engage or disengage, they have this speed boost that Copenhagen Wolves is not having. That can be an issue in the longer runs. We also see Fnatic rotate really well and get towards the mid turret with, for instance, like a Talisman popping, going down to get the mid inhib.
We're maybe seeing a Void Staff coming out in a moment from Unlimited as well. You can see it's got the makings of it. Those cleavers are doing so much damage to Unlimited, really working him down. Unlimited,
he wants to go towards the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. He's been doing it before. Simply, when he pops down the tables, he slows everything, pretty much everyone he hits, and that's the idea behind it. Also makes you more tanky, gives you a slight amount of AP, so it's a fairly decent item for him.
With this Baron spawning in, what, 50 seconds, there's not a lot of vision from Fnatic.
Not a lot of vision. That is an issue because they don't feel they can just move all the way out. They are kind of pressured down to their own turret. Smart move by Copenhagen Wolves to keep them there. Having the vision control, there's still a very good ward behind them, so they can actually see Copenhagen Wolves move towards the Baron pit if they should do it.
Wolves do keep on clearing out those pink wards. We do see Fnatic making a move for this Dragon. It's going to be Cyanide who wants to get down there. Ooh, Forgiven. Face checking into that bush. Had no idea of the vision. They do catch out Peke maybe. Could try and push on towards this one. The rest of the team have moved in place. And Mason tried to catch on towards him. Soaz teleporting into the bush. The Death Sentence does not land. Youngbuck's going to be the one at the front there. But the Cullen's coming out. It's massaging the mirror image of Cyanide. Doesn't really do the damage they required. And Fnatic have got themselves positional advantage on Dragon.
And once again, 2 ultimates are down from Copenhagen Wolves. Only the fresh ultimate is down. We might see a fight, but it could be in favor of Fnatic.
Pink ward goes down, but the Dragon's already gone across to Fnatic. And now they're just going to step away from this one. No advantage whatsoever for the Wolves.
And honestly, Fnatic, they're just doing a better job at getting towards these Dragons at the right times. Meanwhile, though, Copenhagen Wolves can go for this Baron again. Fnatic out of position, but they are moving there.
The smite was used by Cyanide on the Dragon, which they know it can't get stolen away. Explosive Cask is available, though. And you can see Youngbuck, he's just going to come around the side now. They're going to try and take this one down as quick as possible. They've got it!
And just as I mentioned, Copenhagen Wolves have been doing, or Fnatic have been doing a better job at getting objectives. Copenhagen Wolves picked up the second Baron. Smart move, instantly going there. They popped Tibbers, sorry, not Tibbers, but they used everything on getting this Nashor. Yeah, they actually did use the Tibbers on it. Simply just to try and burst it down in time.
Get everything on towards it, it worked out. So, Dragon for Nashor, not a bad trade. And these two teams are still very, very close. You can see it's just a 2,000 gold differential. The lane, though, in the top has been pushed heavily by Fnatic, so the Wolves will have to step away and deal with that one as well as the bottom.
And it actually is insane how close these two teams are. Every single time someone takes an objective from the other team, they just go somewhere else, pick up something. And it's just making it such a close game. And meanwhile, every single team fight, have we seen more than 2 deaths from one team in a team fight? I don't think we have, actually. Just back and forth, very hard time killing each other. Such a close game.
And I can tell you that Fnatic now have as many Dragons in this game as they have in their entire 8-game losing streak.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is pretty impressive.
Which is actually a good sign for Fnatic. It means they are actually turning things around, which may be a bad sign for the Copenhagen Wolves.
That's the thing, we have to give them credit, Fnatic at least, on getting these Dragons. Even when they were behind, they walked down there, took the Dragon away from Copenhagen Wolves, so that was a good move. Meanwhile, though, we have to give Copenhagen Wolves credit for picking up these 2 Barons. always punishing Fnatic if they're out of position.
They've got to be careful. Coutard with that Lich Bane can do a lot of damage to those towers, and you can see that one's just on a slither of health. The mid lane is also being pushed in by the Copenhagen Wolves. It's just SOAS that are keeping them at bay here. And the Copenhagen Wolves, while they may well be slightly losing some of that positional advantage, they have been dominating the jungle area.
They've really been having so much vision inside the Fnatic jungle, pretty much the entire game, and they've been using it to rotate around. This is a free turret for Coutard. Very nice. If they can push up here now towards the base, pressure 2 lanes, they might force Fnatic into something they don't want to be in, like in a bad team fight, for instance.
If Peke stepped around the side, I was wondering whether Amazing was going to go in for it. Coutard happy that he's just taking a tower down. The quick rotations coming in from the Copenhagen Wolves. Fnatic a little bit slow to respond to this one. Youngbuck looking to maybe try and get around the backside. Cyanide's all on his own. They're going to take the tower. He's not going to go for it.
Great rotation once again. Pege was going towards the base. Regulus was already in the base. Simply meant they can rotate around. Fairly low turret. Shield onto Forgiven. Goes in, takes it. Very nice.
And that stretches the game so quickly. It was, what, 2,000 gold a minute ago. We're already up to 5,000, just like that. Those two towers going down, and the farm across the jungle all being stolen away. Youngbuck's gone down to the bottom. He's going to continue to cleave out all of that farm as well. And something we haven't mentioned, actually, these two top junglers, two top laners, I should say, both got themselves 4 mail now.
Both for 4 mail, making it, again, just very, very hard for both teams to actually kill them. And that's the whole thing we've seen in the fights. Tank goes in, they can't die, they back off in time, and simply get out, reset the whole thing.
And speaking of builds, look at the two junglers. Obviously, Cyanide's gone for the full tank, a little bit of damage, but Amazing, he has got a lot of damage in there.
This is the Evelyn build we've seen with a lot of different items. It's very hard to predict always which ones they want to go for, but he has the Sonias, gives him, with the Randuins, very nice amount of armor, also very nice of damage, and if he goes into the face of Fnatic and they try and turn on him, he pops the Sonias, they won't be able to kill him. And also Hexdrinker towards the magic damage. If he shoots a blow, shield will pop, he won't die. So basically he has every single defensive stat he needs, and also he has a good amount of HP and a good amount of damage.
Looking at the two AD carries, it seems, and obviously with that possible Banshee's Veil for Reckless, I'm not too sure which way it's going to go with that one, whether it's going to be Mercurial. We have seen QSSs coming out quite regularly from AD carries lately, the Quicksilver Sash. As it stands, Forgiven not going for any defensive items.
That's the standard Forgiven thing. He rarely builds them because he just wants full-on 6-item damage, and then he's going to rely on the Lulu to pop shield and ultimate to save him in the backline. It's going to work as long as the Lulu ultimate can be used on him at least.
Reckless has got to be careful. They're pinging out. They're trying to... He's been stepping out a little bit far in that mid lane, and they've been looking to try and create a gank. Of course, with the likes of Amazing in there, they could step out, and he was on his own, or just with SOAS, but that would not have stopped a gank on him. Instead, they have backed away. This Baron buff is running low and has worn off.
So we see again the minion or the wave clear from Fnatic just defending towards their own base. Copenhagen Wolves don't feel comfortable. They can just push in with 5 people or split out in every lane, try and shove the waves. So instead they take the farm, push them up, and then they back off. Could be waiting for some key items. We just saw the Blade of Rune King actually being picked up onto Lucian. So they would maybe even waiting for that one, and now we might see them do something.
Yeah, Banshee's Veil starting to appear on all members of Fnatic there. Well aware of the situation. Oh, this is dangerous. Copenhagen Wolves coming in a split poise here. Actually went towards Peke. Peke managed to get away. Cyclone does catch out 3 members. SOAS teleporting in. There's the Dominus coming out from Youngbuck. They're going to get out towards it. SOAS is tanking up on all the damage. But by God, he's taking a lot of damage. Youngbuck goes down. The culling comes out. Cyanide does not get away because he's going to get caught out. Reckless is so low. The barrier is not going to be enough. The Copenhagen Wolves continue to push. Peke turns it back onto Forgiven. The life steal just coming out. Guardian Angels is popped though. He's going to come back to life. Will they manage to capture him down? No. Counter completely missing the Glitterland, so he could get dead sentence. He does manage to get the hit. Yeah, so it's going to be the phone to focus. He will go down. It's going to be Countered with a kill, and that's an 8 for the Copenhagen Wolves.
And the no defensive item Forgiven, standing in the back line through the entire fight, was just hammering away onto Fnatic. So as he came in with the teleport, but he had to back off instantly because everyone from Copenhagen was turned onto him and just bursted him down.
Big death timers here. The Copenhagen Wolves can push on through into the base here. 30 seconds, they could almost certainly get these 2 Nexus turrets down. Can they finish off the game? The Copenhagen Wolves are pushing through. They've got all of the damage available to them with that Lich Bane and with Forgiven. Culling, I'm not too sure why Forgiven just used the Culling there, but they're going to take the Nexus 2 nevertheless. And the Copenhagen Wolves continue with a 5 8-game win streak. They are on an absolute tear right now. But Fnatic, the woes continue. They are now 1-9 in the last 10 games.
But we have to give credit to both teams. This was such a fantastic game. Back and forth, everyone took things away from each other. They kept it even for such a long time. But Copenhagen Wolves, they were just always one step ahead when it came to getting the Baron, and also item-wise and lane-wise, they were just one step ahead of Fnatic.
Fantastic game for them, and again, another fantastic performance from that man. Amazing MVP performances for the last 2 weeks running, but not quite there this week, I think. It was a great team performance, has to be said. And the Copenhagen Wolves, well, they're starting very well, and that sets themselves apart, and they start to climb that table. We talked about the standings at the start of the show, how it was Roccat and Gambit at the top there. I got a feeling come the end of the week, we're going to see a very different standings.
I could definitely see Copenhagen Wolves being up there towards the top 3, maybe even top 2, because they're playing so well. Every single member, we saw the laning phase. Top lane won, bot lane won, mid lane even won, except for the one mistake by Cartard where he gave up a kill to Pekka. And then meanwhile, when you have a jungler like Amazing, who can just farm away, get strong in for the first few team fights, we saw how many items he had on Evelyn. You're just so hard to deal with. And yes, they gave up some dragons, but every time they had a counter answer for it, either take mid-turret or go for the Baron.
Yeah, and for me, that Baron call that came out from that man on your screen, amazing. He started out the Baron as they were down at the Dragon. He was all on his own. He was effectively doing, it's like, I need my team here right now. Everybody quickly got up there, and they took the Baron down. And that really caught Fnatic off guard.
Simply more or less, Fnatic was actually expecting Copenhagen Wolves to engage on them at the Dragon, but instead Copenhagen Wolves said, nope, no need for this, because you're out of position. You have to move all the way around the blue buff, and then towards the Baron area, we can just run through mid lane. So it's so smart by them, such a great call, even caught us by surprise.
Yeah, very quick play, and fantastic game once again from the Copenhagen Wolves. There's no doubt about it. They really have stepped up their game. They came into this tournament, the spring split, as the #1 amateur team. No doubt about that. They were huge. But then they stumbled. Then they struggled. They lost to Gambit. They got actually destroyed by Gambit. And they even said to me, because I saw them the next day, it was just like, we don't even know what happened. But they really have tunneled and worked out their plans. They've all got themselves their apartments in Cologne. They're all based here now. So it seems to really be working for them.
Basically just the fact that, as they said themselves early on, we just need to sort our communication. We're good players, we know how to play, but our communication is not there. We need to sort this. The fact they've managed to do this, it's a very hard thing. If you don't have a shot caller, you don't point out a guy saying, yeah, you're shot caller. You need someone who really knows how to do it. So the
team needs to trust him as well. That's the big thing.
And that's the thing. The fact they can sort this issue have made them so strong, and that's why they deserve all the wins they're getting now. It's not like they get them lucky. They're actually doing really well in pretty much all the games.
Oh, fantastic performance. They were pretty much in control throughout the games. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Shox and Quickshot will be talking to the Copenhagen Wolves Coulthard mid laner. Then 2 teams enter, but only 1 leaves. For first place, Roccat and Gambit will be duking it out for that top spot. And now we all know that these squads have some die-hard supporters, but let's take a look at 4 especially passionate Gambit fans who really went the distance to cheer on their favorite team.
We all 4 went to the same secondary school. I came up with the idea to just drive to Germany and watch the LCS there. We 4 all immediately agreed, and then a few weeks later now, we're sitting here and going to have this awesome trip.
My father is a carpenter, and so I asked my father to build those 2 cool signs for me. The one is for Gambit Gaming and the other is for Diamond Trucks.
It's nice for friendship as well, because we basically just know each other from school and from playing League, but we never, the 4 of us never did such a trip together.
And I thought, no, this time we do it.
Well, right now we are in Germany. We already made a short stop to eat something and drink.
There are still a few hours to arrive in Cologne. I'm already getting a little shaky, and I'm really looking forward to this.
We finally arrived in Cologne, and we're going to meet Benny there. He's a friend of ours that we met through League of Legends, and this will be the first time we actually meet him in person.
We've already played 1,500 great games together, and this is the first time we ever met each other. 5 minutes to go and we're there.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 7 of the European LCS, where we have another 8 huge matches waiting to be played.
We're gonna see Gambit for the first time in real life, and really looking forward to see this.
Diamond manages to land his ultimate across all of Millennium, and now Alex Inch focuses on towards Kevin. Kevin goes down. Well, Gambit may well going to be looking to finish this one out. They're going to take the Nexus down. It will be Gambit closing out the match.
They just won, so crazy.
On Friday, we will be bringing you another full day of matches. You get things started off, Fnatic facing off against Gambit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to week 7 of the European League of Legends Championship Series.
We had some fantastic matches yesterday, and today promises to be just as amazing with the likes of Gambit versus Fnatic on the cards.
And they're going to go straight for the victory. Nexus going to be focused, and Fnatic finally do it. They pick up a win after losing 8 games in a row.
It's awesome to meet you.
Hi. Hi, Edward. Hi. Hi, Alex. Hi, Darren. Hi. Nice build. Hi. Nice. Hi, enjoy. Yesterday it was really awesome, and today as well. So
we wanted to kill at least one guy. Not quite.
it's really awesome to meet them, and I think we're all happy about this.
I'm really happy I could experience this.
So it was crazy to see the LCS and all the players live, and we really enjoyed it, and I think we'll be definitely here again in Summer Split.
The whole 2 days was so much fun for us.
It was really cool and great experience.
So see it again in Summer Split.